Now available in paperback and e-readers from SJS Direct. Isis, House of Isis. The goddess next door takes on a hustling Hotep high priestess in Harlem in this Afrocentric Isis series adventure. Pick up Isis, House of Isis at online booksellers today. I was watching a Mr. Superboy video at the library yesterday, and he was talking about Tamera Mowry Housley. And after watching Mr. Superboy's video about Tamera Mowry Housley, I had to come back one more again to make my own video regarding Tamera Mowry Housley and her dysfunctional relationship with God, I mean Adam Housley. Now, when it comes down to your Tamera Mowry Housley, she loves to get on that minstrel show, The Real, where she's a hostess with those four other mammies, and she loves to talk about her relationship with God, I mean Adam Housley. And oftentimes when she's talking about her relationship with God, I mean Adam Housley, she often gives too much information regarding her relationship with God, I mean Adam Housley, her husband. Now, when it comes down to Tamera Mowry Housley, she talked about how her husband had a picture of her vagina on his screensaver at his work computer at Fox News. And she casually talked about this, not understanding how she was being exploited in the same way the Hottentot Venus was exploited. Now, your Hottentot Venus was Sarah Bartman, an African woman who was brought over to France because all these French men wanted to study her big butt. And after your Sarah Bartman died, they wound up cutting her body apart and then preserving her butt in formaldehyde so they could continue studying her big butt. Now, your Tamera Mowry Housley just can't see how she's being exploited in the same way that Sarah Bartman was exploited as the Hottentot Venus, because your Tamera Mowry Housley deifies and worships Adam Housley, that white man, in the same way she alleges to worship the living God. Now, your Tamera Mowry Housley, again, is married to this white man, and in some ways, I believe she worships this white man like a god because she is completely clueless to the way this man is treating her, because any man who loves his wife would love his wife in the same way that he loves himself. And any man who is following the living God, what he's going to do, because he loves his wife as he loves himself, is he's going to try to present his wife in a way where she is seen as someone who needs to be respected in the same way he wants to be respected. Because any man who loves his wife in his marriage understands that his wife is a reflection of him, and the way she is presented is a way that reflects on him. So any man who would go out of his way to present a picture of his wife's vagina on a computer screen for all of his co-workers and employees to see shows how little respect he has for that woman. Because any man who goes out here and does that is doing the exact same thing that those French scientists did to your Sarah Bartman in making her out to be a Hottentot Venus. Now, the Hottentot Venus was something that was seen as a freak show and an oddity, and this is what your Adam Housley is doing to your Tamera Mowry. But because your Tamera Mowry is completely clueless and spellbound by the idea of fitting into this white man's world and being a part of this white man's life and being accepted by this white man and having a relationship with her God, she can't see how little respect that this man has for your Tamera Mowry Housley. Now, any man out here, yes, he will take some pictures of his wife in lingerie. He may even take some nude pictures of his wife as part of their relationship. However, because he wants to keep his relationship private and he wants to keep things intimate between himself, he may keep those pictures on an SD card or a USB key, or he may just put them in a small folder in his smartphone, all for himself. That's what a man would do who respected his wife, because he would not want to have his wife's body out there for all to see. But your Adam Housley, he's going to put his wife's picture on his work computer, and he's going to do this thinking that this is something positive to do, and he's going to have this on the screen, and she's talking about how at one of these Christmas parties or something like that, he was almost embarrassed by this picture coming up on the screen. Well, that wouldn't have happened if this man had treated this woman with respect, and a man who respects his woman, again, if this is his wife is a reflection of him, and he does not want his wife to reflect badly on him, and he doesn't want to present images of his wife that will reflect badly on him. So he's not going to have that type of picture on his screensaver, and the only reason why he's got that picture on his screensaver is so him and his buddies can laugh at her and make fun of her. And this is something that your Afro-American biracial Negro female, like your Tamera Mowry Housley, can't see, because when it comes down to many of these Afro-American Negro females out here, whether they be a black woman or a biracial black woman, they get spellbound by that white man because they deify and worship him, and because they deify and worship him, he can do absolutely no wrong. And when I look at your Tamera Mowry Housley, it looks like she's starting to take a red pill and it's going down the wrong way, because the statement she's making let me know that there's trouble in paradise with her God. And one of the things that made me think that there's trouble in paradise with God was this. She made a statement talking about how this Adam Housley got upset over a sandwich and mayonnaise, and that's not something a guy gets upset over. She made that about a year ago or so, and lately she's been talking about how she prayed for her daughter to have dark skin and curly hair, and that's telling me that there's the beginning of the end of this relationship between your Tamera Mowry Housley and God, Adam Housley, the man that she's starting to stop deifying and worshiping, because she's starting to see the human being that Adam Housley is, and she's starting to see that this isn't a human being she really feels comfortable having a relationship with. A man who works at Fox News, a man who takes pictures of his wife's vagina, and a man who puts that picture on his computer screen as a screensaver and has it up there for all of his co-workers to possibly see, and probably some of them have seen, and we know that the janitor has seen it, because as he's cleaning up the offices of Fox News, this screensaver is probably coming up as this computer sits idle. So people are seeing Tamera Mowry Housley, and they're seeing her in a negative light, because this is the way her husband wants to present her, and he's presenting her this way because he doesn't see her as a person. He sees her as an object, and he sees her as an object he does not have much respect for. Now, when it comes down to many of these Afro-American Negro females out here who have these relationships with white men, they can't see the truth regarding these relationships. They can't see how these white men usually are using them as a novelty or an access to resources, because when it comes down to these white men, usually they want to be able to get with these black women, because oftentimes they can't get relationships with white women, because the white women usually want to get with guys with more resources, and they know that the black women are easier. Moreover, they also know that when they get involved with the black women, they can say that they're not a racist, and then once they have gotten what they want out of the black woman, whether it be economic resources, a way to elevate their career, or a "I'm not racist" card, they then want to get ready to move on to white women. And that's what it looks like to me that your Adam Housley is preparing to do with your Tamera Mowry, who is starting to probably take that red pill down the wrong way right now, and starting to see the hairline fractures regarding things. And what's happening is your Adam Housley probably saying he's 40, that this woman is 40 years old, she has 2 kids, her body is completely blown out, he's about to get ready to be in his prime, and he's starting to see all these younger, attractive white women at Fox News, and he's starting to hear rumors of getting promoted at Fox News, and he's probably saying to himself, it's time for me to get rid of this Negro female and now be a part of white America, with a white woman, and now he's probably thinking about getting ready to divorce your Tamera Mowry, and that's why your Tamera Mowry is making all of these gestures to the black community, because she wants to go back to the black community, because she knows that when it comes down to this Negro has low standards, and this Negro is willing to accept a black biracial woman because she is considered of a higher social marketplace value, even though she was previously married to a white man and 2 kids. It's no different than what your Halle Berry did, and it's no different than what your Paula Patton is probably going to have to do sooner than rather than later, because your Paula Patton, after being dropped by Robin Thicke, was wound up trying to become a white man's side piece, got caught, and now is probably going to have to take that trip to the Negro community, because, again, the only men who will accept these biracial black women are these Afro-American Negroes, because when it comes down to the Negro, he has no standards, and he'll even take any woman as long as she is so-called light-skinned and attractive, because that's the way it is for many of these Afro-American Negro men. They are extremely thirsty, they have no standards, and that's what your Tamera Mowry Housley is betting on, because she sees that the end of the road is near, and she sees that the end of her relationship is near, and she's looking for a way to get back into the black community, because she wants to use her black card now that she's been run through by your Adam Housley and had 2 kids. She wants to go back to the black community, and she wants to be able to have a relationship with this Negro and have him take care of her in old age. But all of us who see the big picture regarding things like Mr. Superboy and many others, we see what was going on with this Tamera Mowry Housley. We see the game, because we play chess, not checkers, and we can see where things are going with this female. Now, your Tamera Mowry Housley, she just doesn't really see the big picture of how she has been exploited by this Adam Housley. She doesn't see how he has presented her like a Hottentot Venus, and how he really sees her like a joke. But as her eyes get open and she starts to see the horrible truth, she'll start to realize how this man has exploited her, how this man has no respect for her, and how he has no regard for her, because any man who would take a picture of his wife's genitals and put them on a computer screen at his workplace, that's not a man who is husband material. That's just a man who is looking at a black woman as a novelty and sees this black woman as a joke and has a laugh at this black woman at her expense. This is the horrible truth that Tamera Mowry Housley and many of these swirlers don't want to hear, but it's the truth that they need to hear, because this is how things are regarding their relationship with the God that they serve. If you'd like to try some of my SJS Direct publications, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the Spinsterella trilogy, or many of my men's issues books like the Simp series, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.